probably the biggest social justice movement we've seen in the past several decades.
Yeah, they seem a little lost now,
Black
too.
Lives Matter. They're completely losing it. 2020, it's amazing how deep they penetrated the American cultural conversation.
Yeah,
very
consciousness level.
They established themselves. Their net support, according to Civics, for Black Lives Matter, shortly following George Floyd's death, it reached a net support of 24%.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive. And
that's supporters minus detractors.
Supporters minus detractors,
Okay.
yeah. And yeah, that was huge for them. Obviously, they got billions, hundreds of millions of dollars in donations.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, new house money.
We
Lots
have
of
no
new
idea
house
what
money.
they're doing with those, other than buying
Mansion
houses for
buying,
themselves.
Yes.
But since then, their support has taken a bit of a drop off. It seems like people are starting to wake up a bit to what Black Lives Matter is really all about. And we actually have a graph that shows the support for Black Lives Matter from early 2018 till roughly today. And all the gains they made in 2020 have been virtually erased. And it's really interesting looking at this graph because you can kind of tell what happened, why people stopped supporting Black Lives Matter. And you can see, it's going up starting, the organization was founded after the George Zimmerman ruling, after he was let off for the killing of Trayvon Martin. Then it gained prominence around the Michael Brown shooting.
Right.
They started forwarding all those lies about the Michael Brown case that we know aren't true.
The
We
hands
know
up, don't shoot stuff.
the Obama Department of Justice proved all those things to be false. They proved that Michael Brown had assaulted Darren Wilson, that he was charging him at the time that he was shot. But nevertheless, spewing out all those lies about all those police shooting cases helped Black Lives Matter. It helped them get that trend upward. Then when George Floyd happened, that was just a huge spike. They got all the support they could have ever wished for. Then the riots started.
Right.
And you can see just a few weeks after that, a few months after that, there's just a sharp decline, continues over time. And then another thing that I find so encouraging about these numbers is after George Floyd, after people woke up to kind of the riots and what BLM was all about, there were other shootings. There was the Jacob Blake shooting. I'm losing some of the names. I can't think of some of the names right now. But, a lot of other police shootings that were said to be, racist, police brutality. And it turned out in every case that just like Michael Brown, they were all lies. And it looks like people woke up to that. It looks, because, the trend continues to go down even after those shootings happened, which suggests that people watched the shooting on the news, they heard the BLM narrative about it, and then they saw that BLM was actually lying, and then they're like, oh, wait, okay, I don't think I support this anymore.
Right.
So looking at that graph, what do you guys think about those numbers? What do you think you can attribute that decline to?
Well, I think it's a good indication of something that I have said many times, which is that the truth comes out in the end.
Yeah.
It always comes out in the end. Short term, was it Lincoln, I think, who said you can fool all of the people some of the time and some of the people all the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what BLM has been trying to do. And it's a really, so we could do dumb or dishonest here too. It's
really.
Are they so, and I'm not talking about the run-of-the-mill, on the street sort of activists,
Right.
that people are concerned about their own communities or whatever. That's a different thing. I'm talking about leadership here. Leadership of BLM we know is Marxist. We know they're race baiters.
Yeah.
They are grifters. That is very simple, grifters.
Yes.
So the question becomes, are they so short-sighted that they think that these very short-term gains that they can get by manufacturing a narrative around any given shooting, they think that that's somehow beneficial, when in fact we see the numbers, and the truth is that it's the opposite. That's not helping them at all, and yet they keep doing it. So are they so caught up in that mindset, in that worldview, that they just believe every time a black man is shot by the police that he was innocent and the police were racist? Do they really believe that's true? Or are they such grifters that they see an opportunity for a short-term win? And they get some short-term wins, but long-term it's killing them. So I say truth will out. I believe that. I also think that the buck stops here, kind of. So I'd put, to the degree that we're talking about the BLM organization,
Yeah.
not necessarily the movement, certainly not the slogan, but the organization. The leaders are responsible for this.
Yes.
The leaders who are crafting the narrative and telling other people what to say, what to think about it. They're failing in their mission. Whatever that mission, whatever they think that mission is, it ain't working.
And yeah, it seems like they had it. They had the narrative. They had won. And then they just couldn't stop themselves, and they kept going for more and more. Like, do you think that accurately describes it?
George Floyd was probably the best example of a case that looked pretty iffy. Like, there's some real issues with that. George, it's not all the issues they said there were, but there are some issues with that incident, right? Yeah. And they have a cop who's actually convicted of something for a change, which is rare.
Exactly.
Because normally the truth comes out, and the cops were doing what the cops had to do.
Yeah, and Ahmed Arbery right before that was also, it seems like those guys were probably racially motivated.
Exactly. So they have a moment in time that they could capitalize, and they did. But then, I think they got so caught up with the success of that, they're like, let's manufacture that. Every black guy who gets shot now, let's try and get the same thing going. And you're gonna kill the movement, because you're not motivated by truth. And truth has got to be what drives any kind of movement.